It's every little boy's dream come to life, hitting the winning home run in front of the home crowd. More on last night's amazing World Series Game 6 finish. Leading police on a high-speed chase.
Step out of the vehicle! Step out of the vehicle!
While half naked. This very unusual bust made by police. And a crowning achievement for women in Britain, thanks to a vote that's creating big changes to the British throne. Your independent news network starts right now. Good evening, everyone. I'm Mike Mickle. Welcome to INN News. It was like the scene out of a baseball movie, but it happened in real life and had millions of us glued to the TV late into the night. The amazing win of the Cardinals against the Rangers and the drama leading up to it. In the bottom of the ninth, with the Rangers up 7-5, Neftali Feliz on the mound for the Rangers. Hometown St. Louis boy David Freese hits one deep to right over Nelson Cruz, scoring 2 runs to tie it at 7. Then in the top of the 10th, the runner on first base, the Rangers' Josh Hamilton hits his first home run of the postseason, bringing in two to lead again 9-7. The Cardinals tied at the bottom of the 10th when Lance Berkman hits a single into the center, scoring John Jay. In the bottom of the 11th, Freese at bat again, and this time he hits it deep to center.
Freese hits it in the air to center. We will see you tomorrow night.
The Cardinal fans undoubtedly went wild in St. Louis after last night's win. Despite the game ending well past midnight, that didn't seem to dampen their enthusiasm. It's likely to continue into Game 7 tonight, also in St. Louis, where a winner takes all. Well, the Rangers were freezed out last night from a win, and it's also freezing in the Lone Star State. Take a look at the snow that fell in Amarillo yesterday. Several inches fell there, shocking many who woke up. Fortunately, temperatures are expected to climb into the 60s this weekend, so all of that will melt. People in New England are also getting their pre-Halloween scare of snow. That fell yesterday in Albany, New York, as temperatures dropped below freezing. The snow is a little ahead of schedule. Last year, Albany's first snow came on November 8th. More snow is expected there this weekend, perhaps up to a foot. Well, a 2-hour water search for missing baby Lisa Irwin turned up nothing yesterday. Investigators used boats and a cadaver dog to search a pond at a park in Kansas City. 2 other dogs sniffed along the shoreline. Police say the pond search was not in response to a tip. The area just happens to be one they needed to check off their list. That pond's about 2 miles from the baby's home. It's been more than 3 weeks since she disappeared. Losing a child is heartbreaking enough for any parent, but imagine finding out the terrible news on Facebook. That's what happened to Jackie Barton, a New York mom who learned her 16-year-old son, Ridge, had died from a head injury he suffered during a high school football game. She spent hours frantically trying to find out more, waiting for police or a school official to show up at her door.
I would really hope that people just take a look and start realizing that things have to change so that no other parent would have to suffer and go through what I went through.
Police admit they're finding it more difficult to notify next of kin before something appears on social media sites. A crisis of natural forces continues to cause problems in Thailand. Nearly 10 million people are now affected by floodwaters that have been inundating that country for weeks. At least 373 people have died, and that water is still rising in some places. Leon Panetta has big plans for New Year's Eve. The defense secretary will toast the successful mission to get Osama bin Laden. A California restaurateur made a bet with Panetta when he was CIA director. He said if Panetta got bin Laden, he would open the oldest bottle of wine at his restaurant. Panetta and friends will toast with a bottle of wine valued at $10,000 to $15,000. Big changes are coming to the British throne. From now on, sons and daughters will have an equal right to the crown. That means if Prince William and Catherine have a daughter first, she can inherit the throne. The 16 countries the Queen rules over approved the changes unanimously at a summit in Australia. The independent governments of those countries will still have to agree to the changes for them to take effect. And that's your Global News Now. Thousands of people will soon be out of a job. Whirlpool announced today it's cutting 5,000 positions in North America and Europe. Comes after the appliance maker posted a $177 million profit in the third quarter. Still, the company says it's coming out short for the year as a whole due to weaker demand and higher materials costs. The decision to lay off workers is expected to save that company $400 million over the next few years. Meanwhile, some better news about jobs and proof that couples may want to communicate more about finances. That and more as we get back to business. First-time jobless claims are down slightly. 402,000 people filed last week, down 2,000 from the previous week. But claims seem to be stuck near that 400,000 range. Video game maker Nintendo predicts its first annual loss in 30 years. The company lost $923 million in the first half of its fiscal year, ending September 30th. This is twice the amount Nintendo had expected to lose. Nintendo blames the poor figures on slow Wii sales and the global economy. Couples have a harder time than single people estimating how much money they owe. That's coming from a new study published by the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. The study focused on data from surveys and credit report information. It found that only half of the people questioned said they had credit card debt, but in reality, about 75% do. The study found people who lived with someone else were off by 30 percentage points in their estimations. For single people, it was only 20 percentage points. And that's your Back to Business. Well, a woman under the influence, way over the speed limit and practically naked. Police in Ohio say that's what they had on their hands in a high-speed police chase earlier this month. Bainbridge police stopped this car driven by 28-year-old Aaron Holdsworth of Hiram after clocking it going 128 miles per hour. Officers used stop sticks to puncture the car's tires, bringing that chase to an end. She then got out wearing only a G-string and tennis shoes.
Step out of the vehicle. Step out of the vehicle.
In 26 years of working in Bainbridge Township as a police officer, I ever recall having a subject in such a state of undress on any of our, and being driving.
With the dash cam rolling, police handcuffed and placed her into a cruiser. Police say she became extremely combative and repeatedly kicked the cruiser's back window. She's charged with DUI, among other things. Well, it's something to think about the next time you put in a load of laundry. Coming up, how you may be polluting the oceans, and one young woman's amazing weight loss, how she transformed herself into a queen.
Super Steel's budget makeovers are underway. I'm Erica Rodriguez. Coming up, I'll introduce you to the two women who are about to go through boot camp for their wallets.
And we want to remind you, INN News is on Facebook. You can also find us on Twitter at INN News Network, and we're on YouTube. We're reaching out to you so you can reach out to us. INN News is coming right back.